This one is quite critical. It's about this idea called group relief. Okay, now we did do group relief a little bit before, so this question focuses on how to handle group relief. Okay, look at the question here. This question basically focuses on what do you call? With regard to group relief provision income tax, state with reason whether Readings Learned Bhd and Kopios Learned Bhd will be qualifying companies for group relief in year of assessment 2011. So basically, what is this testing? Conditions. You can note these are conditions for group relief. Okay. Assuming Reading and Kopi are qualifying companies for group relief in year of assessment 2011, identify which company will be claimant company, explain how much of the surrendered loss can be utilized, identify which company is surrendering company, determine how much of the loss that may be surrendered. Are you clear now? Are you looking at the question, page 24? Okay. So that's about the idea of claimant company and surrendering company. It's 4 marks only. Okay. As the tax advisor to the learned group of companies, draft a report addressed to the group MD explaining the relative merit and tax efficiency of each of the two acquisition alternatives. So this is about how to acquire somebody. Identify the above with reference to the following. Tax deductibility of the loan interest. This is about interest restriction question. Again, where the examiner is testing whether you know how the interest can be claimed or cannot be claimed as a deductible expense. Clear? Okay. The next one you got there is the tax treatments of the initial 500 RPs and the basis of inventory valuation at the end of the period. So this is also about acquisitions, and you talk about how to do valuations, okay? Because there is an impact on your valuation that will impact on your tax position, and the treatment of initial loss incurred in respect of artwork business, and the eligibility of initial loss in respect of artwork business for the group relief. So this is a big question. This is called acquisition. Okay, we call this acquisition planning. Okay, acquisition tax planning. Got it? So this question is kind of critical because it's got tested 2 areas which you need to know about. One is called acquisition tax planning. The other one is called group relief. Okay, have a read of the question first. So we're looking at the learned group, okay, and I've already told you this is very possible this time. This is something you should take very seriously, this idea of acquisition as well as the idea of group relief, okay, because it's overdue. Now, let's look at the question first. Learned Group holding company of a holding company in the Learned Group of companies listed in Bursa Malaysia. Learned Group closes its account on 31st December annually. Okay. Now, Learned wholly owned subsidiary Readings Learned Bhd has been operating a chain of bookshops since 2005. Reading registered statutory income of 5 million and 6 million respectively in 2010-2011 and expects this profit trend to continue in the coming years. So they are going to make profits. Okay. Another wholly owned subsidiary of Learned is Kopios Learned Bhd and has in the past 30 months been starting up a chain of garden cafes. Kopio incurred a loss in 2009 and 2010 and expects to incur a loss of 10 million in the year of assessment 2011 and a further 1 million in 2012. Thereafter, it expects to record profits exceeding 15 million annually. Recently, Learned Group decided, now you can draw a line here. See, that's the basic part for this question. What is this part? This part relates to this part. It's 9 plus 4. Got it? Okay. Recently, Learned Group decided to venture into artwork. Okay. It has entered into negotiation with Artful Learned Bhd, Artful, a newly incorporated company yet to commence operation, whose main value lies in owning 500 pieces of contemporary art by promising artists. Learned Group management is considering 2 alternatives for this acquisition. Learn will acquire the entire shareholding of Artful, or Kopi O will acquire the entire collection as a perceived synergy between the garden cafe business with the exhibition and dealing of artwork. As the artwork can be displayed in the garden and cafe premise, and sales may be transacted there. So they are looking at two options. So two alternatives. Company buys direct, or the company then buys it through one of their subs. Okay. Now, under both alternatives, transaction costs are about the transaction cost will be about 30 million and will be financed by a bank loan taken by the acquiring company. The artwork business is expected to be profitable after 12 months. Okay. All three companies, Reading, Kopi O, Artful, have paid up share capital of 18 million. This is quite important to pick up. That exceeds that SME level, yes or not? Correct? And none of them has until now enjoyed any tax incentive. This is very important for group relief. Okay. None of the above companies derive income from any source except business source identified there. Okay. Right. So that's the first part of the question. So let's do the initial one. If you are doing the initial one, what's the first part requiring you to do? First part asks you to clarify. What are you supposed to clarify? Part A. You are supposed to clarify the whether they qualify, yes or not. Qualification for group relief. What's the qualification for group relief?
First of all, first part of the question.
They must be resident in Malaysia right now. Malaysia and also incorporated. Does that make sense? Companies must be related. What is related?
Either company holds 70% more of the shares of the other, or another company holds
70%. Yeah, 70%. Now be careful with your exam answer. The exam question asks you to verify whether these companies can claim. Don't just write down the condition. Also state whether the company met the condition. Are you clear now? If you just wrote the condition without saying, yeah, I think the company met the condition, then you got a problem. Are you clear now? They both have a 12-month basis. Done. How many marks is this? Do you think you memorize the condition now? Yes, no? No, cannot memorize. Hello. You cannot see, you cannot memorize. Have to memorize.
I missed the business loss, so maybe we can talk about
In this one, it's okay. Not so bad, but it's still, it's 1 mark gone. Are you okay? Can. Okay, next one. Part B asks, part 2 asks you for what? Who's the claimant company? Yes or no? It has profits to absorb. Does that make sense? Follow? Next one is the surrendering company. Who's the surrendering company? In this case, this one is going to be
Copy.
Are we okay then? Follow? You can't surrender all 7 million because the other person can only use up to 6 million. Correct? That should be the discussion. There's a very dangerous virus that's going around the computer world now.
Virus, you say?
It'll hijack your computer and then ask you to pay money.
Isn't that malware?
Don't know, it's a new kind of virus that will come into your computer. It'll shut down your computer and not let you use your computer unless you pay money to it. They'll give you an account, you pay the money, they release the code.
That's only possible if you open up a wrong site.
Don't know how they have done it. It's a weakness in Windows. Cannot sue Windows. Windows now has sent the patch out, but it's already too late. They say Europe all is affected already. Scary virus, huh? It'll confiscate your computer and not let you do anything. Windows. Welcome to Windows. Windows got a lot of problems. Huh?
I was raised around like that.
Hasn't happened in Malaysia yet. Malaysia not rich enough.
Where is this?
It's all Bitcoin. They want Bitcoin payment.
So you're saying it's like in countries like US?
US, Europe. Okay, are we okay here? Because imagine you're doing critical work and suddenly you get locked out. You might be willing to pay. They're asking about 100 Bitcoin, you know. That's a lot, you know.
Can't you just report the police?
Can't do anything. There's supposed to be some funny country in Mongolia or Russia. Okay, now let's look at this part. Right, let's move on to the next issue here. So as tax advisor for Learned Group, draft a report to address MDs explaining relative merit. So here, what is the situation here? They have decided whether to buy the other company using either buy the shares directly or use a subsidiary to buy the shares or buy the company. Are you clear now? Follow? And they will ask you to discuss on a few things. So here the MD is asked you for something. So and you need to write a letter, right? Yes, no? Is it write a letter? Report. Okay, so report. This is part B. So report to report to report on actually report on what's the date today? Today is the well, what did the question ask you to? Merits and tax efficiency. Okay, the first one is what? Interest, right? How? Tax deductibility of interest?
The first alternative is not applicable because it relates to the acquisition of capital assets.
Yeah. So basically, Clear? Copy O. Done. That's your first part. Arguing that the artworks you can deduct, the shares you won't deduct because dividend income not deductible, tax exempt. In the past, yes, now cannot. Okay. In the older days, dividend income was kind of you had franked dividends and all that, and then that allowed you to deduct. Are you clear?
Yeah, but now it's exempt. So
Now it's exempt, so forget about it. You just have to say that. And this is a common exam question. Examiner will always like to test you on that idea. Got it? Clear? Not clear? Next one is up. Part 2 asks you about treatment of
gains adjusted business income.
yeah. Inventory is under MFRS 102, right? MFRS 2 and MFRS 102. Remember, IS all uses the word MFRS, right? Yes, no? Still remember your basic accounting standards? Clear? Not clear? Can? This you're looking at page. Got the question right? This one is page 24. So today target question 2. We'll run through all the question 2s. Are we clear now? Question 2. No, now the new question 2 is 25 marks. The old one used to be higher. The old one used to be way higher. Okay, huh? Are we okay so far? Can? This question I haven't done before. Are you clear now? I haven't done this question. I don't think I've done it before in the videos and all that. That's why I'm covering up all the question 2s now. In the videos, got a lot of other questions. All your other questions at the back there, all covered already. Front questions all covered, right? Most of the front ones are covered in the videos. Front ones are. Does it make sense? So the videos I used to cover up the front one. The back ones I'm covering up right now. You have to still go through the videos. Got time now? To go through the video questions. Got time, right?
I've gone through 50 or 60 years.
Yeah, you? No time. Yourself? Wait, hello? Got time now? Watching. Got time now? Wait. You better find time, you know. How long it takes, you know, to watch? How long it takes to finish?
Depends on each every individual, I suppose. I mean, you don't have to sit and listen to
One shot.
everything. Basically, you just need to. Maybe it's total as 25 minutes.
What, 20-30 minutes?
That's the shortest.
Depends on the question also, right? Some questions 15 to 20 minutes. Hey, try to squeeze 15 to 20 minutes. Actually, you just set yourself target. No, it requires a lot of discipline.
What I do is normally at the start of the day, so I we do this much, just set number of videos in this.
Just set the target, 3, 4, 3, 4. You can speed up a bit. Does that make sense? Can you can play the speed to 1.5, 2 and all that. You can finish faster. Does it make sense? Can try that out. Okay, now this is the valuation part. Are you clear now? Valuation is based on market value at the end of the basis period, but inventory, the inventory is physical, tangible asset and not immobile properties or securities. You can make an election made to value inventory at cost plus expense to bring to current condition location as per MFRS 102. Are you clear now? Okay. Now, what's the next question? The next question is here. Now it's 4 marks. The treatment of the initial loss incurred in respect of artwork business. So here you're going to talk about the treatment. This is number 3. So this is about the treatment. How are you going to treat the whole thing right now? Treatment of initial loss. So here is called treatment of initial losses. What can you do with that loss? Okay, so how? the first 12 months. What can you do with this loss? Can you do anything with the 12 months loss? Does that make sense? You can use this loss against future income. So unabsorbed losses can be carried forward. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Can you help us understand the logic as to why just acquiring shares alone will suffice for taking over the other company's losses?
You cannot transfer the loss over to you. That's where the group relief is coming. But if you acquire the shares, the loss stays with the company. The only way you can access the loss is to group relief. But if you acquired the shares, group relief is also blocked because you don't have that preceding 12 months basis ownership, remember? So in this case, if ARC4 is acquired, it will not be able to surrender the loss under group relief because it's not related The end. Are we okay? So if I was to summarize the answer for this, summary answer, are you clear now? Clear? This one just extra. This one was interest. Second one is what? Inventory access, inventory value. After that goes what? That's all. That's all the question wanted you to do. Of course, you write like that, you fail in the exam. Are you clear? But that's what the question wanted you to talk about. Does that make sense? In short. Clear? Not clear? Okay, huh?